Try to return to the old version. No return policy on growth. Try to revisit the old version of the comfortable and known. Tried to step back into the familiar I had outgrown, like returning to a size that doesn't fit the current frame. Tried to run the old operating system in the same mismatch between the hardware and the software made it clear. No return policy. The old version isn't here anymore in a form that runs on what I become. No return policy on growth. The old is done. I used to try to go back when the new got heavy and unclear. No return policy on growth. The old isn't there. No return policy. The store won't take it back. No return policy. Can't reload the old track. Once the growth has moved the operating system through. No return policy. The old version isn't you anymore. Can't be returned. No return policy on what was earned. Even if I wanted to, the old comfortable has an expiry. Once the awareness grows past the old boundary, can't unsee the better standard, can't unknow the cause, can't reinstall the naivety that the growth already tossed out of the system when it upgraded to the current build. No return policy. The old version's been filled in by the new one, and the new one's not removable. No return policy on growth, that's the unapproachable. I used to try to go back when the new got heavy and unclear. No return policy on growth. The old isn't there. No return policy. The store won't take it back. No return policy. Can't reload the old track. Once the growth has moved the operating system through. No return policy. The old version isn't you anymore. Can't be returned. No return policy on what was earned. No return policy on growth forward only. Too far from the old, not yet at the new. That's the middle and it's the worst. Left the old shore before the new one came into the view. Between the comfortable I left and the arrival of the new, there's a water with no land in sight in any direction. No old identity and no new one for the reflection. In the mirror to confirm just the in-between. The uncomfortable middle is the most honest thing I've seen. On the cost of growth, the part nobody photographs. The uncomfortable middle, the most expensive on behalf. I used to try to rush the middle to get to the other side. The uncomfortable middle is the cost of the growth, no place to hide. The uncomfortable middle, no new yet. The uncomfortable middle, the most honest of the net. Cost of the growth, the part that lives between the versions. The uncomfortable middle, that's the growth excursions into the territory no map has. The uncomfortable middle, this is where growth has stayed in the middle without rushing to resolve it. Sat with the disorientation and tried to solve it slowly instead of fast. Found the middle had things in it worth the sitting, worth the discomfort, worth the limit of the patience that it asked for before the new shore came. The uncomfortable middle built something the quick route never claimed. For the landing version, the middle built the depth. The uncomfortable middle, everyone I've left. I used abandoned every text of the old story that was traded for the honest and the real. Every version that it cost is written in the deal that produced a standing version. Everyone was the price of the current composition. Every sacrifice of the comfortable and the familiar and the known. With every version it costs, that's the ledger I've shown. I used to mourn the versions without reading what they purchased. Worth every version it costs. The current one is the surface. Worth every version it costs. Everyone that left. Worth every version it costs. Everyone bereft of the next level's company. Everyone that couldn't stay. Worth every version it costs to get to today. Not wasted, not lost in vain. Worth every version it costs. Worth the pain. The naive version paid for the knowledge of the cost. The fearful version paid for the courage that the fear it crossed into. The version that quit paid for the one that didn't know how to again. Every version was the payment in the show of what was required to build the current one that stands. Every version it cost passed through these same hands and left something in the passing that the next version no worth. Every version it cost, this version fully grown. I used to mourn the versions without reading what they purchased. Worth every version it costs. The current one is the surface. Worth every version it costs. Everyone that left. Worth every version it costs. Everyone bereft of the next level's company. Everyone that couldn't stay. Worth every version it costs to get to today. Not wasted, not lost in vain. Worth every version it costs. Worth the pain. Worth every version it costs. Still be covered. The lie was comfortable. The truth cost everything. Worth it. The comfortable lie had good furniture, had a view, had the feeling of a life with nothing left to push through, had the satisfaction of the surface, looking fine, had the story running clean along a manageable line. And I traded it for the uncomfortable truth of what was real, and real doesn't have the furniture, real doesn't have the feel of the settled. Real has the friction of the actual, the comfortable lie I gave up. That's the cost, that's the factual. I used to live inside the comfortable lie and call it peace. The comfortable lie I gave up. That's when the real ones release. The comfortable lie I gave up was the price of the truth. The comfortable lie I gave up was the cost of the proof. That's what I'm building is actually real and not a fraud. The comfortable lie I gave up, that's the gross full brush. Uncomfortable truth from here. The comfortable truth from here. The uncomfortable lie I gave up this year. Miss it sometimes in the early mornings when the truth is loud. Miss the simple story in the way it played well for the crowd. Of the inside voice that used to have a simpler read of things before the truth arrived and brought the complicated strings attached to every situation, attached to every choice. Miss the comfortable lie, but I don't miss the borrowed voice that came with it. The performance of the settled and the fine. The comfortable lie I gave up, the truth is mine. I used to live inside the comfortable lie and call it peace. The comfortable lie I gave up. That's when the real ones release. comes with Didn't expect to grieve the version I was leaving. Didn't expect the loss to sit inside the achieving of the better. Didn't know the old self had a weight that wasn't just a burden, that had comfort in the gate of the familiar. Had a warmth I didn't recognize until it started leaving through the growth. That's when the eyes saw clearly that the becoming cost was grief for the old self. That's the growth hitting claws. I used to think the growth was pure addition with no loss. Grief for the old self is the growth's most honest cause. Grief for the old self, grief it, let it land. Grief for the old self, believing is the plan, not a failure of the growth. The grief is proof the growth is real. Grief for the old self, that's the cost of the deal. Let it move through, honor it. Grief of the old self, that's legitimate. Gave the grief a season, gave it room to breathe. Didn't rush the process and didn't try to leave before it finished having what it needed to say about the version walking out and the one coming to stay in its place. The grief is not a signal that the growth is wrong. Grief for the old self is the old self's final song, sung before the new one takes the stage and keeps the floor. Grief for the old self, then the next version, nothing more. I used to think the growth was pure addition with no loss. Grief for the old self is the growth's most honest cause. Grief for the old self, grief it, let it land. Grief for the old self, believing is the plan, not a failure of the growth. The grief is proof the growth is real. Grief for the old self, that's the cost of the deal. Let it move through, honor it. Grief of the old self, that's legitimate. Grief of the old self, then new begins. Some people love the version that I was. That version is gone. That's the cost. They fell in love with the starting version. That's the one they chose. They built their expectations on that version, and it shows in every interaction where the new one shows up differently. With the growth created gaps they weren't expecting to see in the person they thought they knew from the earlier year. The version they knew left and the leaving wasn't clear or gradual enough for some of them to follow without loss. The version they knew left, that's the growth, real cost. I used to apologize for growing past the version they expected, the version they knew left. The new one isn't something I've corrected. The version they knew left, I don't call it back. The version they knew left, and it's not coming back on track to what it was before the growth showed up and changed the room. The version they knew left, that's the cost of the bloom. Not a betrayal, just a leaving. The version they knew left, still breathing. Some held on to the earlier version long past it was accurate. Some built a relationship with the ghost and got passionate about defending it against the evidence of the new. Some eventually updated, some never days for growing past the version they expected, the version they knew left. The new one isn't something I've corrected. The version they knew left, I don't call it back. The version they knew left, and it's not coming back on track to what it was before the growth showed up and changed the room. The version they knew left, that's the cost of the bloom. Not a betrayal, just a leaving. The version they knew left, still breathing. Version they know left, no one stays. The full accounting includes what left. The full accounting of the growth includes the column on the left, the column of what left when the building process kept adding to the right side. The full accounting runs both ways, not just the gaining of the years and the better days, but the losing of the innocence of not knowing what it cost, the losing of the easy confidence before the battle's lost, and won and built into the real version of the thing. What I lost along the way is part of what I bring. I used to do the accounting with the right column only. What I lost along the way is the balance that makes it lonely. What I lost along the way belongs in the account. What I lost along the way is part of the full amount of what the growth cost. Full ledger, both sides read. What I lost along the way is part of what I need to acknowledge, to carry forward. What I lost along the way, the full record. Lost the naivety that made the early season sweet. Lost the certainty of the unchallenged and the need. Work before the complications of the knowledge and the real. Lost the simple version of the days before the deal. When the growth was made and everything got complicated. Lost the ease of the unexamined and the sated. Comfort of not knowing what I know now about the cost. What I lost along the way is worth the loss. I used to do the accounting with the right column only. What I lost along the way is the balance that makes it lonely. What I lost along the way belongs in the account. What I lost along the way is part of the full amount of what the growth cost. Full ledger, both sides read. What I lost along the way is part of what I need to acknowledge, to carry forward. What I lost along the way, the full record. What I lost along the way, counted. Not every relationship was built for the version I became. Some relationships were built for the version version I was in, before the growth became the dominant wind blowing through the architecture of the life I made. Before the version they signed up for started to fade into something they couldn't fully recognize or track. Some tried to follow, some asked the old version to come back. Some quietly drifted, some more loudly drew the line. The relationships that didn't make it, that cost was mine. I used to think that good relationships all survive the growth. The relationships that didn't make it taught me what they're both. The relationships that didn't make it aren't failures of the bond, they're honest limits of what some connections can respond to. Across the distance of the version gap, I hold them with care. The relationships that didn't make it were real while they were there. Breathe them, don't erase them. The relationships that didn't make it, don't replace them fast. I'll each one up in the light before I let it go. Ask the honest question of what I needed and what I know I needed to maintain it. Found the gap was real in both directions sometimes. Found some relationships need the growth to stop, to be sustained, and stopping isn't the option. The relationships that didn't make it, the adoption of that loss is the growth, most personal and voice. The relationships that didn't make it, that's the real voice. I used to think that good relationships all survive the growth. The relationships that didn't make it taught me what they're both. The relationships that didn't make it aren't failures of the bond, they're honest limits of what some connections can respond to. Across the distance of the version gap, I hold them with care. The relationships that didn't make it were real while they were there. Break them, don't erase them. The relationships that didn't make it, don't replace them fast. Relationships that didn't make will grave them. The standardized costs more to maintain than the old one. That's the point. Yeah. Raise the standard and felt the weight of it shift under the load. The new standard costs more daily than the old one on the road. More time, more energy, more refusal of the easy exit, more of the difficult choice made in the ordinary context of the Tuesday session when nobody's watching, and the choice is between the old standard and the raised one, and the voice that says the old one's fine is louder than it was before. The price of the standard is the daily cost of more. I used to think raising the standard was a single moment's work. The price of the standard is the daily cost. That's the growth quirk. The price of the standard is paid every single day, not once at the raising, every day along the way. The higher the standard, the more expensive the daily keep. The price of the standard doesn't come cheap. Raise it knowing what it costs. The price of the standard, worth the loss. Worth the loss. Yeah, watch the ones who raised the standard in the moment of the fire, then lowered it back quietly when the fire lost its desire to sustain itself against the daily cost of the new height. The standard has to be maintained through the ordinary night when nobody's watching and the fire isn't burning bright. Just the daily price of the standard in the ordinary light of the Tuesday session, that's the real price paid. The price of the standard, that's the cost of the upgrade. I used to think raising the standard understood the old ceiling felt like sky. The growth knew that it could. I used to mistake the ceiling for the actual limit of the air. The old ceiling felt like sky. The growth removed it from there. The old ceiling felt like sky until the growth removed it. The old ceiling felt like sky until the work disproved it. As a final limit, as a truth of what could be. The old ceiling felt like sky. The growth set the actual sky free. Higher than I thought existed. The old ceiling felt like sky. I persisted. Every ceiling I've broken through felt permanent before the break. Every limit I surpassed felt absolute before the take. Off past it felt like the actual boundary of the real. Every old ceiling felt like sky until I made the deal with the growth to test it, to push past the comfortable claim that this is as far as it goes. Found it goes much further than the frame. I was operating inside, found the sky above the ceiling. The old ceiling felt like sky. The growth keeps revealing. I used to mistake the ceiling for the actual limit of the air. The old ceiling felt like sky. The growth removed it from there. The old ceiling felt like sky until the growth removed it. The old ceiling felt like sky until the work disproved it. As a final limit, as the truth of what could be. The old ceiling felt like sky. The growth set the actual sky free. Higher than I thought existed. The old ceiling felt like sky. I persisted. Leveled up, looked around, fewer people at this altitude. Every level up comes with a thinning of the crowd. The ones who cheer the early climb go quiet, go less loud. As the distance opens up between the standard and the old, between the version they knew first and the version that I've told through the work. The ones who love the starting version best sometimes can't locate the current one pass. The manifest of differences, the level up is real and so is the alone. The loneliness of the level up, that's the cost I own. I used to think the level up would bring more people to the table. The loneliness of the level up, that's the cost nobody puts in the label. The loneliness of the level up is real and it is heavy. Not the kind that breaks the climb, the kind that makes you ready for a different kind of company, at a different kind of height. The loneliness of the level up, that's the cost of the fight. Worth paying, worth the climb. The loneliness of the level up, worth every dime. Found the ones who match the new level further down the road. Found them after the lonely season paid its full load into the compound of the growth. The altitude reveals the people built for altitude. That's the cost and the deals you make with the loneliness to get to where they are. The level up has a lonely middle section and a scar of the temporary isolation that the growth requires. The loneliness of the level up, then the new fires. I used to think the level up would bring more people to the table. The Looking back at everything it cost, the cost was fair. Laid out every cost of every year of growth in a row, every relationship that changed, every comfort that had to go, every ceiling that the growth demanded I walked through, every version of myself that had to leave before the new could take its place, every grief and every bridge, every lonely season on the uncomfortable ridge. Between the old and new, laid it all out in the light, and looked at what I gotten and the cost was right. I used to question if the growth was worth the price I paid. The cost was fair. Everything it cost was what it weighed. The cost was fair. Looking back at every line, the cost was fair. For every version of the climb, everything it took was exactly what it had to take. The cost was fair. The growth was worth the ache. Would I pay it again? The cost was fair. The answer's yes. And then every group tax paid was paid for something real. Every lonely season brought a different kind of feel for what was possible. Every bridge that burned was one that couldn't hold the weight of where I was going. Everyone was priced correctly even when the price felt steep. Every comfortable lie I gave up was too cheap to hold the real version, and the cost was always fair. The cost was fair, that's the growth's honest declaration there. I used to question if the growth was worth the price I paid. The cost was fair. Everything it cost was what it weighed. The cost was fair. Looking back at every line, the cost was fair. For every version of the climb, everything it took was exactly what it had to take. The cost was fair. The growth was worth the ache. Would I pay it again? The cost was fair. The answer's yes. And then the cost was fair. Worth every price. Not every bridge is worth keeping. Some are worth burning clean. Some bridges I burned with the cost of who I was becoming. Some environments I left with the cost of where I was running toward. Couldn't maintain the version I was building and the version that the old environment was filling into the shape I simultaneously. The tension broke, the bridge burned clean at the seam, and the smoke was the cost of choosing one direction over the other. The bridge burned clean, that's the cost of the further. I used to try to maintain the bridge and the direction. The bridge burned clean when I finally committed to the growth. The bridge burned clean, and I don't rebuild it from the ash. The bridge burned clean. It wasn't reckless, wasn't rash. It was the honest consequence of growing in a direction. The bridge burned clean, that's the growth's hard section. Not every bridge is built to hold. The bridge burned clean, that's the story told. That's the story told. Some of the bridges I missed, some I don't. The honest answer's both. Some environments that fell away took warmth along with the growth. Some I trade back if the trade included staying still. Some I wouldn't. Some the burden was the price of the will to become Thursday like the early years. Find the conversation, hit a ceiling and the ceiling appears. At a height that didn't used to be a ceiling, used to be enough. Used to be the whole sky, now it's just the low end of the rough. Dropped to what I'm building, went back to the old routine. Found the grooves that used to comfort at a different sheet. Now a little shallow, a little smaller than I need. Nothing fits the same, that's the cost of growth seed. I used to want the old fit to still be there waiting. Nothing fits the same. The growth is worth the relocating. Nothing fits the same once the growth has moved the size. Nothing fits the same, and that's a cost that's no surprise. Once you know what growth actually does to everything around. Nothing fits the same, the old fit can't be found. Not broken, just outgrown. Nothing fits the same. I've grown. That used to feel like home, not feel like a country where I used to live, not where I roam comfortably now. The topics in the depth of what I need don't live in the old places anymore. They move with the speed of the growth. Found new places, eventually found new rooms that match the current size. But in the gap between the tombs of the old fit and the new fit, there's a disorienting space. Nothing fits the same, I'm finding a new place. I used to want the old fit to still be there waiting. Nothing fits the same. The growth is worth the relocating. Nothing fits the same once the growth has moved the size. Nothing fits the same, and that's a cost that's no surprise. Once you know what growth actually does to everything around. Nothing fits the same, the old fit can't be found. Not broken, just outgrown. Nothing fits the same, I've grown. Nobody tells you about the tax when they sell you the growth. Every level up comes with a bill nobody shows you in the pitch. Every version of yourself that's better comes with a switch from something that was comfortable to something that costs more. Every growth has a tax, and the tax is at the door. Before you get to keep the version that you built, the growth tax is the comfort lost, the familiar that's built out the back in the new version. Every upgrade has a fee. Nobody tells you about the growth tax when they sell you free. I used to think the growth was just the adding of the new. Growth tax, something for everything you're moving through. Growth tax, every upgrade has a cost. Growth tax, something old is always lost. Not just the gaining of the better and the new. Growth tax is the price of who you're moving to. Pay it, know it, name it. Growth tax, don't disclaim it. Don't disclaim it. Pay the growth tax in the comfort of the old routine. Paid it in the certainty of knowing what things mean. Me for the growth expanded the vocabulary of the possible. Paid it in the relationships that couldn't cross the title shift between the version leaving and the version I'm becoming. Paid the growth tax every season. Paid it without running from the cost, because the cost is what the upgrade actually is. Growth tax, pay it forward, only business. I used to think the growth was just the adding of the new. Growth tax, something for everything you're moving through. Growth tax, every upgrade has a cost. Growth tax, something Tax, pay, at every level. Growth arise. Doesn't ask if anyone's ready. Growth arise. Growth doesn't ask the room if it's a good time to arrive. Doesn't check with the people in my life if they'll survive. The disruption of the version they're expecting from my place doesn't schedule itself around the comfort of the space. Just shows up when it shows up and begins to change the rule. And the people in the room have a choice inside the bloom of the change. Come with it or don't. Growth doesn't negotiate. Growth doesn't ask permission. That's the cost at the gate. I used to manage the growth to fit the timeline of the room. Growth doesn't ask permission. Growth arrives and the room must choose. Growth doesn't ask permission from the people in the space. Growth doesn't ask permission to rearrange the place. Arrives when it arrives and the rearranging is the cost. Growth doesn't ask permission. Some comfort will be lost. Not negotiable, not scheduled. Growth doesn't ask permission. That's the unmedialed. Try to contain the growth to the hours that fit cleanly in the life as it was arranged before I was seen. Before the growth became visible and started changing things, found the growth resistant to the management it brings. The growth outgrew the container I was trying to maintain. Growth doesn't ask permission to exceed the frame I built for it. Grew past the boundaries of the managed play. Growth doesn't ask permission. That's the cost of the skin. I used to manage the growth to fit the timeline of the room. Growth doesn't ask permission. Growth arrives and the room must choose. Growth doesn't ask permission from the people in the space. Growth doesn't ask permission to rearrange the place. Arrives when it arrives and the rearranging is the cost. Growth doesn't ask permission. Some comfort will be lost. Not negotiable, not scheduled. Growth doesn't ask permission. That's the unmedialed. Growth arise. Growth doesn't ask permission. Arise. Calling it a growing pain doesn't make it not a pain. The label growing pain is meant to make the pain feel purposeful, but purposeful and painless and not synonymous or merciful on the body or the mind of the relationships in the room. Growing pains are still pains and the pain takes up the room. The pain takes up regardless of its purpose in the plan. Doesn't hurt less because the meaning is at hand. The growth context doesn't reduce the cost of the feeling. Growing pains are still pains, that's the honest dealing. I used to use the label growing pain to skip the actual feeling. Growing pains are still pains. The cost requires real dealing. Growing pains are still pains. Feel them. The purpose doesn't mute the grief of every composition that the growth dismantles before it builds anew. Growing pains are still pains, and the pain deserves its due process, deserves the actual time it takes to move through, not the compressed version where the label talking to you about the purpose makes the cost seem manageable before it is. Growing pains are still pains, acknowledge what this is. I used to use the label growing pain, skip the actual feeling. Growing pains are still pains, the cost requires real dealing. Growing pains are still pains, feel them fully first. Growing pains are still pains, don't skip past the worst of the experience, because the context makes it meaningful. Growing pains are still pain, and the pain is still sequential. Through the body, through the mind. Growing pains are still pains. Take the time. Once you see what's possible, the old ceiling becomes a prison. Crossed the threshold in the understanding of what's available, and found the old comfortable was suddenly not habitable. The knowing of a better standard makes the previous one ache. Every time I try to return to it, there's a break between the new awareness and the old familiar ground. The old ground doesn't hold the same, the old sound has a frequency I can't unhear now that I've heard. Can I know this? That's the cost that comes with every word. I used to want the knowledge without the cost of knowing. Can't unknow this. That's the price of the understanding growing. Can't unknow this. The awareness changes everything. Can't unknow this. There's a way that knowledge brings. The old comfortable is gone because the new standard's in my head. Can't unknow this, and I don't wish I hadn't read the room, the truth, the better. Can't unknow this, it's mine forever. Try to go back to the old version of the thing a few times. Saw the old version didn't fit the new definitions, lines anymore. From the knowledge of the better standard set in the room of the old comfortable, like an uninvited cat that wouldn't leave, that changed the temperature of the familiar. Can't unknow what I know when the knowing makes the similar. Old comfortable, impossible to inhabit fully anymore. Can't unknow this, that's the cost, that's the core. I used to want the knowledge without the cost of knowing. Can't unknow this. That's the price of the understanding growing. Can't unknow this. The awareness changes everything. Can't unknow this. There's a way that knowledge brings. The old comfortable is gone Is the most expensive thing I've ever done. Don't show on a balance sheet. Expensive in the seasons of the uncomfortable, incomplete state of the in-between. Expensive in the relationships that couldn't make the crossing in the comfortable that slips away when the new standard takes the place of the old flow. Becoming is expensive in every room and every door that closes as the new one opens, costly in the gap. Becoming is the most expensive work inside the map. I used to think becoming was the free upgrade of the work. Becoming is expensive. That's the truth behind the smirk. Becoming is expensive. Count the full cost before you start. Becoming is expensive. It will cost you mind and heart. And the comfortable, familiar, and the certainty and the known. Becoming is expensive. That's the price of being grown into the next version. Into the deal. Pay for the becoming in the currency of the let go. Paid in the uncomfortable honesty of what I'd have to show for the growth that only comes through what can't be kept intact. Becoming is expensive and that fact is still a fact. Even with the context of the purpose and the worth, even knowing what the becoming eventually gets birthed to on the other side, the cost is still the cost. Becoming is expensive. I paid, I've grown, I've lost. I used to think becoming was the free upgrade of the world. That's the truth behind the smirk. Becoming is expensive. Count the full cost before you start. Becoming is expensive. It will cost you mind and heart. And the comfortable, familiar, and the certainty and the known. Becoming is expensive. That's the price of being grown into the next version. Into the we used to satisfy, doesn't anymore. That's the cost nobody warns about. Things that used to fill the hunger don't hit the same. The old reward that used to land now only brings the claim of partial satisfaction. Filled it for a moment, then it left. A gap where the complete feeling used to live. A theft of the simple pleasure of the thing that used to be enough. Growth changed the appetite and now the old stuff doesn't cover what the appetite requires anymore. Appetite change, that's the cost living at the core. I used to want the old reward, and now the old reward falls short. Appetite change. For the achievement that now just delivers the next question of what's next. The appetite for more is the cost and the engine of the growth in the door to the next level. The appetite that the old couldn't fill is the fuel that keeps the building going still. Past the comfortable, past the old enough, past the former plate. Appetite check, and that's not a problem, that's the gate. I used to want the old real